Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a retro review for the film Life from 2017. This movie is rated R with a runtime of an hour and 44 minutes. As of the recording of this video, we have a Rotten Tomato score of 68% with a 54% for the audience and a letterbox average rating of 3 stars. In this film, astronauts aboard the International Space Station are on the cutting edge of one of the most important discoveries in human history, the first evidence of extraterrestrial life on Mars. As members of the crew conduct their research, the rapidly evolving life form proves to be far more intelligent and terrifying than anyone could have imagined. This film stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Reynolds, Rebecca Ferguson, Hiroki Sanada, Olga Dikovichная, and Arian Bakari as Hugh Derry. Uh, this film was very interesting. I came across it because I had just watched the film International Space Station ISS. You can find the review for that on the channel as well. And I think I was scrolling through TikTok, and there was a scene from the movie Life, and I was like, "Oh, this is another film that happens to take place in the International Space Station. Let me actually check it out." I remember at the time of coming out, this film was it was kind of panned as an Aliens ripoff that's not as good. And while I agree that this film is not as good as Alien, I don't think it's a ripoff, and I think it's more of an homage. It definitely grabs a lot of things from films like Aliens or Jaws and things like that. But also, I think it's very different in a lot of ways. I think the fact that we are, in space, but there's no gravity. I love those visuals of astronauts just kind of floating around, and it's very interesting to me how they do all that kind of maneuvering. There's some very interesting camera shots because sometimes things are upside down, but are they really, and like in space, is there even an upside down? It just it just visually looks like it's upside down. So yeah, that was very interesting. I think the cast is great. Out of everyone on the cast, there's a couple of people that I'm not very familiar with, and those are the last two individuals I named. But everyone else, I mean, it's like having a film with that cast today would be something that would be guaranteed success. So yeah, this film takes a lot of risks, especially when it comes to eliminating people from the cast. I do love that we have these these scientists and these people are in space because they want to improve mankind, but obviously that the premise of this film takes that and turns it upside down. And then how do you keep yourself not only alive but also what happens when there's a danger of this being this life form coming onto Earth and maybe doing even more damage. Um, I think I'll talk about the end in a minute. I won't get too much into details, but yeah, visually I like the way the creature evolves. I think towards the end it gets a little bit, I don't like the design as much. I think the design was very, it was a lot more interesting when the less detail the creature had, the more threatening it felt to me. There's a lot of points of view shots from the point of view of the creature, which I think those are very interesting. And like I said, all the visuals from space, people floating, um, yeah, like all that stuff just makes it very interesting. There's also some really good performances. I think Jake Gyllenhaal, who's playing somebody that has been in space for a really long time, like, and maybe somebody that doesn't want to go back home, like they don't, like they feel like they belong in space. I think that makes for a very interesting story. Uh, we have the character of Rebecca Ferguson, who is tasked with making sure that any life they find stays quarantined, it stays contained in the station. Right, they have the like firewall systems to prevent anything from coming into Earth, which I think is very interesting. So like, where does your own life, how important is your own life versus maintaining those firewall protocols to pretty much protect everyone else on Earth? um it's really cool. Like I really like the pacing is very well done. I think this movie, it doesn't overstay its welcome at an hour and 44 minutes. It's just paced really well. Things escalate pretty quickly. Like it really, it's kind of into thirds. Like every 30 minutes something really big happens. And yeah, I just really enjoyed the chemistry between the cast. I like the how gruesome it can be, because the this life form, whenever it does kill someone, it's pretty gnarly. Like they don't, especially because you are in space, and uh, the way the way that the characters sometimes have to die in space can be done very interestingly. So yeah, I really enjoyed that as well. Like I said, great performances. Towards the end, I kind of figured out what was going to happen, which is a little unfortunate, and maybe that's the part that people are a little bit less satisfied with. But overall, I was very entertained. I would say between both of the films that I just watched this weekend that take place in the International Space Station, I think this one was more interesting. I enjoyed the other one as well, but this one was more interesting because there's a more visceral aspect to it, and it is more of the humans against this life form versus the conflict of kind of humans against humans, different nations, right? I think that's a little bit easier to kind of get into and enjoy. So yeah, overall, I think this movie just it's pretty satisfying. It is kind of hard to find. I had to get stars for the month, which is always a pain to get an additional streaming service. That's the only place that I could find it. But like I said, I wanted to watch it, so maybe I'll watch some other stuff that's on there. I know Volcano's on there. That's always a good watch. But yeah, there you have it. Let me know if you've seen this film before. What you think of it? Like I said, I don't think it's an Aliens ripoff. If anything, this film was heavily inspired by movies like Alien, but it definitely takes its own twists and turns. So, thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone.